The late, great Norman Lear made it to the 1 century mark and still died way too young in my estimation because he made the type of comedies that impacted not only generations of Americans, but gave us something called escapism, gave us comedy, completely filter-free comedy, like All in the Family, Sanford and Son, the Jeffersons. Shows that dabbled in a lot of racial humor, I'm not going to lie.
What the hell did you just say?
But what did we do as a country? We laughed because we knew the difference between a joke and a hate crime.
Correctamundo.
The God's honest truth is most of us still do. But something we're going to celebrate in this hour is not the people that might get offended or want a trigger warning or a safe space. Shut up. Jokes are supposed to be treated like a buffet. Okay, if you see a joke you like, you throw it on the tray. If you don't like the joke, you keep walking to the next set of tongs. Don't worry about what the guy's throwing on his tray behind you. We all get our own tray. But nowadays, in the age of cancel culture and the outrage mob, people see a joke they don't like. Okay, they don't just keep on walking. They stop and they argue with the chef.
That's true. That is true.
How dare you serve that joke in this establishment? And never mind if 99% of the customers like it. I don't like it. Back in the day, anybody who tried to hold up your comedy, your music. I don't like the music show. Jason Aldean wants to stop violent criminals.
Get him out of here. Get him out.
This is the thing about cancel culture a lot of people don't understand. Okay? Yes, it's a product of social media's existence. Okay? But cancel culture existed before we had social media. We had a word for these people. They were called losers.
Bingo.
Losers that would show up to wreck your fun and make it all about them because they didn't like something. I don't like the lyric in that rap song. I don't like what the comedian said. Comedy's about punching up, not punching down.
Shut up! Will you shut up?
Comedy. It's about being funny.
He knows what he's talking about.
And it doesn't matter, okay? As long as you're doing it from a place that's not malicious, joke about whatever you want. There's actually a phrase. It's called gallows humor. Gallows humor. People who were being tortured to death used comedy as a way of entertaining themselves. As they sat there shackled at the wrists, hanging in a dungeon. Okay? Hey, this food's terrible. And such small portions. Just stupid things. Things to entertain themselves. Things to cope with the grief they were feeling. The torment life can sometimes dump on you. That's what comedy's there to do. Whether your life's going good or bad, comedy is an escape. It's a chance to unplug from your responsibilities. It's a chance to take the power away from your torments by just laughing senselessly, which is the whole point of being alive. I say this every day. If you die tomorrow, you're just going to wish you had more fun today. So the fact that we don't have the common culture of comedy in the way that we used to, it's sad to me, man, in a weird way. Like it's funny. I watch a lot of The Tonight Show. I watch a lot of Johnny Carson roasts, the old Friars roast. I watch a lot of Johnny Carson interviews. And I watch it because for me, it's it really is an outlet because I just go back to this other world where, I started watching The Tonight Show when I was in 5th grade. I had a teacher, Mrs. Pascana, who was like, hey, I'm really funny. She's like, you should start watching The Tonight Show. I'm serious. You should watch it. I'm telling you, you could host one of those shows one day.
Wrong.
Okay, whatever. That's what she said. She was probably day drunk. It was Levittown. What do I know? Come on. But the point is, she told me to start watching those shows and get into showbiz. And I believed her, because I watched it. And the only reason I believed her is because I wanted to do it. It looked so much fun. And they didn't care. When you're watching The Tonight Show in 1982, there's no stigma in the room. They're just there to laugh. Everybody knows they're there to laugh. The celebrities are half in the bag. The most jarring thing about old late night shows is how many cigarettes they smoke on the air on a live TV show. People are chain smoking on the set of The Tonight Show. It's bananas. Okay, now they don't even let you smoke in the house, in your own house in New York City.
What the hell is the world coming to?
But again, is that freedom?
The answer would be no.
But the government has succeeded in taking away a lot of our freedoms. Because they've divided us with things like cancel culture. They've divided us with things like weaponized censorship. And it leaves us fighting each other harder than we're fighting our common enemies, which is why the government is taking away so many of our freedoms. Again, if the speech ain't free, you ain't free. Norman Lear made All in the Family with Archie Bunker at a time when the speech was very, very, and I mean very free.
This could be a problem.
I mean, it'd be a problem if it was made today. All in the Family would be called All in the Jail Cell. Okay, but understand, we consumed it back then. Multiple, generations consumed it and laughed at it because they knew the jokes weren't hate crimes. Society would benefit so much if someone could do a TV show the way you and me do a radio show. This show's amazing in terms of its motive and in terms of how it's distilled. You don't have to agree with the points. No, who cares? You're not my enemy. You're just an American. You're on my team, whether you agree with me or not. So you're the defense, I'm the offense. Great. We have a team we've got to play. Those are our common enemies. That's how America works. Believe me, if you had a big TV show that had this sensibility, it'd be the greatest thing that ever happened to the country. Because right now, the country has no common culture. Everything has been made divisive because we've injected politics into it, okay? Think of how sports used to rally the country together. George W. Bush threw out the greatest first pitch in the history of the World Series, in the history of baseball. In the aftermath of September 11th, Game 3 of the World Series, 2001, I was in the upper deck, sitting in a seat that, I got to be honest with you, was a lot higher than the ticket broker told me it was going to be.
That's just how white folks will do you.
Seriously, turns out when he said, "These seats have a great view," he forgot to mention it was of Jupiter. Yeah, they have a great view. You'll be eating a Milky Way in the Milky Way. I mean, it's bananas. But anyway, I was there. And George Bush threw out a first pitch in the aftermath of 9/11 at a time when we were afraid to gather in large groups, when a lot of the country was still shut down, okay, and people were really freaked out. He walked out to the mound and threw a first pitch, and everyone lost their mind in that stadium. We felt whole again. And it was rallying around a familiarity of sports, of the common culture of sports. George Bush became president after one of the most contentious elections of our lifetime, the hanging Chad recount against Al Gore. Okay, yet in that moment of 9/11, we understood that the guys running into the buildings weren't asking if you were a Republican or a Democrat. They were just trying to help humanity. That's what common cause is. And when we had common culture, which was late night shows we all watched, sports shows we all watched, movies we all watched, that was good for the country because we could put our political differences aside. Now you turn on an NFL game, they're like, white people are racist. Film at 11, back after this, End racism in the end zone. Oh, thanks. In a $1 trillion league that's 80% black, we need to end racism. You clearly understand that the league's success isn't possible if we are not so far beyond racism that you'd get called for a late hit were you to make that play out of bounds, okay? Give me a break, dude. Unsportsmanlike conduct to accuse us of racism when it comes to our support for the NFL. But shut up and move on, okay? You go to the movies now and you watch the Oscars, and instead of unplugging, every Oscar speech is a reminder to plug in your electric car. It's a contest to see who can scream the loudest about how we should be building bridges and not walls. And everyone doing the screaming goes home to their houses that are surrounded by walls.
Democrats are so full of crap.
Seriously, is any Hollywood star that says build bridges and not walls, do any of them have a bridge onto their property for strangers?
The answer would be no.
Weird. But that's what all of this, all of this self-righteousness, all of this moral superiority of the left and cancel culture is. Okay, Norman Lear, was a liberal. A liberal made All in the Family. A liberal made The Jeffersons. A liberal made Sanford and Son. And if Norman Lear made those shows today, liberals would cancel him.
Well, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard of.
They would straight out cancel him.
Get out of here and take your mother with you.
That'd be it. Gone. But you understand that's the proof that society's compass is broken. Okay, the party has changed. The liberals were the party of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's who they were. And now they're the complete opposite, okay? They won't have sex unless you take Big Pharma's drugs, okay? That's the way it works now. And they're not too big on rock and roll because the lyrics are offensive. It's a really dumb time to be alive, and we miss the Norman Lear shows, just the same as we miss things like Blazing Saddles. They tried to make some type of a remake they were promoting over the summer. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere. But I'll be honest with you, Blazing Saddles was a phenomenal movie. It was the most wildly offensive thing you could ever do, and the language would get you fired from pretty much every job in society today. Comedy that was just there to make you feel better about the long shift you worked. or the, expensive bill you had to pay, or the, thing that didn't go your way. Or even on the days it did go your way, you still wanted to laugh. Why? Because laughing is the best thing you can do with your life. There's that. I mean, honestly, I'll give it to you in any order you want. Laughing, food, and a thing you might do with a member of the opposite sex.
Oh, yes. I've read about that in the Bible.
Okay, and then maybe even the same sex if that's how you roll. I don't care.
I love it when you talk dirty.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I do whatever you do. Okay? But when you get up out of bed every day, you have a job description. Oh, I'm going to fight crime. I'm a cop. I'm going to put out fires. I'm a fireman. I'm a long-haul trucker. Crossing guard. I'm a teacher. I sell meth outside of an elementary school, which is what you're probably doing if you listen to this show. The point is, that job description is not your life description. Your life description is you're in the fun business. You are in the fun business, dude. That's the only point of being alive. And we're so missing the ball on that. That's why I wrote a book. Like, I actually wrote a book trying to help because I'm stupid. Because I'm young, and I'm not young, but for this industry, yeah, I'm probably young, but because I care. Like, I'm young to the business, okay? I want to use the platform to have an impact on society and kind of force everybody to downshift into second gear instead of trying to kill each other all day. You got to notice that the world isn't getting better. It's getting worse in every way. It doesn't mean it has to continue as is. But the point is, in order for it to change, we all have to learn to go back to just enjoying each other. And we have to learn to agree to disagree. Remember that phrase? We'll agree to disagree. Nice guy, we'll agree to disagree. This is getting a little contentious. Let's agree to disagree because I don't want to get in a fight with this guy that I know is a nice guy. We just disagree on the idea. We don't do that now. Now it's, oh, you disagree? Wait, whoa. That guy disagrees with me?
He should be behind bars.
Lock him up. Fire him from his job. No vaccine? Whoa. Never mind that the people who pushed the vaccine said it didn't work on the campaign trail. Don't we just forget that part?
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us.
If and when the vaccine comes. It's not likely to go through all the tests that needs to be and the trials that are needed to be done.
When we finally do, God willing, get a vaccine, who's going to take the shot? Who's going to take the shot? You can be the first one to say, sign me up.
So you understand, they told you on the campaign trail, who the hell is going to take this thing? What are you, nuts? No way. Okay, and then they got into office, and what's the first thing they did? They mandated that you take it, after also saying that they wouldn't mandate it.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory.
Wait, whoa, what? What the hell is going on here? But the reason they get away from that stuff is we now fight each other harder than we fight our common enemies. You dig? That's the problem with cancel culture. That's the problem with weaponized censorship. That's the problem with getting away from comedies like the ones the late, great Norman Lear made. They brought us together. Now, most of the art forms you consume in this world are an exercise in driving us apart. That's why I'm telling you, this show exists as a giant middle finger to anyone anywhere that wants to tell us what to do.
Step into my office.
Why?
Because you're fired.